Welcome back to Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classics, last non-classic. This episode number 772 and Doubleshot number 666. I have one trade published by a company called Omni Press. This is the first trade of a review from this one. And the other one, of course, is our Astro one. Okay, let's talk about this one by Omni Press. This is known as Whiteout, Volume 2 Meltdown. This collects the sequel to the miniseries Whiteout by the same creative team, by the way. Yeah. This, I think, was like 6 issues, no mistake. Yeah, I think it was like 6 issues. Let me look it up on here. Yeah. Yeah, this is done by Greg and Steve. Name of the artist? Steve Lineberg. Yeah, Steve. The original miniseries was about the main character who was in here, named Carrie Stecco, I think it's pronounced her last name, where she's investigating a murder that happened in the South Pole. Yep, the South Pole. And during the course of the original story, she loses 2 of her fingers. She loses her fingers, what looks like her right hand. She loses these 2 fingers. She loses her pointer, basically loses her trigger fingers from her right hand. And after she loses, she has difficulty getting requirements assistance. Just button up a shirt. Yeah, it's this miniseries was long, but the issues themselves are quite. This one starts off with a brief history of what's going on in Antarctica, where people used to set bases there, fight over it, some expeditions. Interesting stuff. I got to praise Greg Rucka for doing this. Of course, bring up the Atlantic Treaty, which, by the way, is still in effect this very day. Yeah, this treaty says in here that it's never broken, and still to this day, yeah, never broken. And then we jump to present day, where this outpost has a bunch of where it has these nuclear, let's say, plutonium in these boxes, and there are 14 people killed at the beginning of this book. And Carrie, who's actually, and of course we jump to Carrie, and of course all these guys wearing like white hazmat suits anyways. We jump to Carrie, who's actually in warm environment, wearing t-shirt and shorts, and she has 8 days left of leave left. And she also stated that she's living in Antarctica now for 5 years. Yep. As for how old she is, I'm not really sure how old she is. Yep. And of course, because she's a U.S. Marshal, she's called to go back down to Antarctica, despite the fact she still has leave left, to retrieve this nuclear plutonium. Okay, and then she goes down to Antarctica, and she meets with a Russian who is a Russian agent, but doesn't work with the KGB because the KGB disbanded back in 1991. And he followed these two up the course of this whole series, where they go and try to find this stuff. And it turns out the stuff was actually stolen by the Russian mob. Yeah, and apparently they're a big problem, Russia, with this miniseries, yes. Also, in the Pendulum issue, something a bit of nowhere happens. Carrie and the Russian agent decide to have sex in an igloo. Not kidding. They even show an aftermath, basically, of her in a nude. And it's snowing. Well, she said, why not? So she just takes off her shirt and just has sex with the guy. And then she comments, though, yeah, this is the first time I've had sex in a year. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. If I was that Russian guy, I'm like, man, I am so lucky to be with such a beautiful woman like Carrie. Yeah, of course she does basically let the guy go, even though she's ordered to betray him a good opportunity. And even though that she's told to, she lets him go because they had sex. That's the only reason why she lets him go, despite the fact she's ordered to betray him. Yep, she gets nuclear plutonium back, and that's where the series ends. Yeah, it's a bit of abruptly, which is a little bizarre. And I should point out, though, despite the fact you have the cover in color, the entire series is in black and white. Yeah, the whole series is like this. And I know that the first miniseries was actually adapted into a film with Kate Beckinsale. I have never seen it, but I heard it's not that good of an adaptation of the original miniseries. If I get a chance to meet Greg Rucka, I will get his opinion on the original, on the adaptation of the film, because Whiteout was something he wrote. Yeah, I'm sure he has his own opinion about this. This I actually didn't think was too bad. I think the ending was definitely a bit abrupt. The whole thing of Carrie having sex with their partner, that was kind of a bit of a sexual tension that basically been building over the course of the series, which I didn't have a really big problem with that at all. They actually built up toward this, and I didn't have a problem with it. My only problem with this series is the abrupt ending to it. That's my only problem with this thing, the abrupt ending. But could Greg Rucka and Steve LeBaron do a follow-up? I have no idea because Greg Rucka himself is working on 2 books of Image. He's working Black Magic and Old Guard. Yep. And this series came out in, I think it was like 1999, I believe it was, correct? Yeah, the original miniseries. Yeah, it came out in 1999 to 2000. Yeah. But this is actually a really good miniseries. Oh, and when they do show, after the, because this is not published by Marvel or DC, yeah, they're allowed to show nudity. Oh, and there actually is some, as for violence, violence is actually very tamed in here, surprisingly. It's not very well, you don't see much for violence here. Mostly the big thing with this miniseries is that there's lots of swearing. Mostly by the main character. Yeah, she swears a lot over the course of these 4 issues. Kind of like how Bendis writes Jessica Jones, where she swears a lot. Yeah, and there's only 1 scene of nudity. The entire comic book. Yep, only 1. I'm not going to show it. If you want to see it, read the comic for yourself. I'm going to get this book a 9.5 out of 10. I like the story in here, and I especially like the beginning of the book, where it gives like a detailed history of Antarctica, well, the human expedition to Antarctica over the years. Yep. Next up, it is Astro City Reflections, which is actually the 14th volume of the trade series. This collects issues, and this is of actually volume 3, 26, 29, 30, 32, 34, and that's it. And it's done by the original creative team of the book, Kurt Busiek on the writing, Brad Anderson on the artwork, and Alex Ross the cover art. By the way, Alex Ross and all the covers for this whole series. I mostly put some of these issues a bit standalone-ish, but they're also multi-parters. Like, there's a story featuring, well, the guy Steeljack, who teams up with an old flame of his to take down some millionaire guy. And I should point out his old flame is basically around his age. She looks like she's probably in her, I'd say probably in her late 40s or 50s, but she looks really good for her age. Steel Jacket, yeah, they don't really explain exactly how in the world. Yeah, he's basically kind of a PI now. Yeah, the opening issue is just basically about Good Samaritan and Wayne Engel, who are now a couple, and apparently, apparently these 2 had sex. Yep. So yeah, mostly that's what the first issue is about, but Good Samaritan. Yep. And then we have some issue focus on this guy here in the back. Yeah, there's an issue focused on him and his world. And focus on the first family. Yeah, there's a little bit. There's a story focused on them as well. Yeah, basically the same story there. If we invite a bunch of monsters, and then we have the rest that's focused on, well, Steel Jacket and his former an old flame of his known as Cutthroat. Yep. And let me show her first appearance, and they explain this in the back. Oh yeah, he doesn't like the fact that there's 2 people having sex at one of the mother's grave. He doesn't like that at all. And here she is. This is Cutthroat. That's her. Quite a lovely woman her age. Yep. Now they do show at one point in here, in one of the flashbacks, of these 2 having sex. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good little 3-parter. I do appreciate the fact focusing on Steel Jacket. Yeah, Kurt Busiek does occasionally have stuff focused on Steel Jacket. He's quite an interesting character. Yeah, great stories in here. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Alright, so that's really it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be on 2 more Astro City trades. Yeah, 2 more Astro City trades. Soon. That probably won't be today anyways, because I got to reread them anyways. Alright, but until I see you all in the next review, bye.